What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bios3 Raw TV. Since you guys like these breakdowns of the Olympians' physiques, we're going to continue today with Mr. Kai Greene. I know he's got a lot of fans out there, and I'm getting more people asking me to break down his physique and get my opinion on him more than anybody else. So without further ado, here is my opinion, my take on Kai. Now, let me first start off by saying that Kai is one of the few IFBB pros that I had interaction with that, for no reason, approached me and said something to me, just randomly out of the blue. It was the 2007 Lehigh Valley Classic, Lehigh Valley Championships. And attached to that was the Keystone Classic, which was a pro show. It was the first time that I had ever actually been in like a backstage setting where I'm pumping up next to Branch Warren and Mark Dugdale and Kai Greene, all these guys, Dennis Wolf. And it was pretty surreal because basically, you know, you felt like you were kind of like in the Olympia or something. You know, all these Olympians are around you and you're sitting there doing the same thing that they are, like pumping up, you know, sharing the rubber band things to pump up your shoulders. Pretty cool. So, as a heavyweight, I go on stage, you know, this other individual got very mad that he wasn't compared for first place, which he wound up winning the show anyways, but, and as he came back, he was really pissed. He was saying some words and stuff, and me and the other guy that were on the side of him in the class kind of looked at each other. We're like, why is this guy being a dick? And out of nowhere, Kai Greene, and that was when he first started wearing the hoodies and the jackets and stuff, comes up, and I knew who he was. And he says, hey man, don't worry about that guy. And he puts his hand on my shoulder, he goes, you look good, man. And he walks away. And in my head, I'm like, holy shit. I said, did that just happen? I thought Kai Greene, and let me give you a little background on Kai. I knew Kai I was competing in the ANBC as a teenager, and Kai's my age. He had already turned pro at like 19 or 20 years old in the WNBF, which I forget what federation feeds into that, but he was a natural pro. And, you know, I remember saying, wow, this kid, he's about 200 pounds and like 19 years old, shredded, and had those cross striations in his legs. So I've known who Kai is for a long time, and I've watched his physique throughout the years because I used to read the natural bodybuilding magazines. He was always in them winning everything. So I know who he was. Now, fast forward to the last couple of years, specifically this year. Some people say Kai beat Phil. Again, you guys go, oh, you act like it's Vietnam. I wasn't there. No, you weren't there. You didn't see it. It's like saying, hey, how was that brain surgery? I don't know. I wasn't there. Exactly. You got to be there to really know what the fuck's going on. Otherwise, you're talking out of your ass. Pictures, bullshit. Videos, bullshit. See it live, it's a whole different thing. And seeing Kai in May, right? At the Pittsburgh, he was super lean, dry in shape, and was full. Okay, he was bigger than he normally is. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm like, he looks like almost ready for competition, like 4 weeks out right now in May. And I don't think he's doing anything until the Olympia. Holy shit. All year long, there was talk of Jay coming back and what he would usher back in being like a size game, being bigger than everyone else, which didn't happen. Talk of Big Ramy coming in, size. Talk of Dennis Wolf, size. All this size. And I think that through that, Kai felt like he had to come in bigger. I mean, George Farah, whatever, obviously his name, figured that he should come in a little bit bigger and try to overpower Phil with some size. And nobody thought Phil was going to come in any bigger. But Kai, when he seems to go, like we saw him in May, that was the last time we saw him before the Olympia. He was bigger. And I was 3 feet away from him, like talking to him at the casino. Bigger than he was in May. So it means his off-season he was smaller. He grew into the show and was bigger. I don't know what his body weight was, but I could see he's physically bigger. And not because of his joints and he was drier, he was dressed. So in his fucking clothes, he was bigger than he was in May. So he got bigger for the show. I think that's where he went wrong. Now, to beat Phil, Kai has to be super tight. Let's face facts. That's where Phil gets everybody. He's so conditioned that you have to bring that type of conditioning, at least, if not crazier conditioning, with a better package to beat Phil. Kai, going that route of coming in bigger this year than he did last year, I think sacrificed a little bit of conditioning in order to try to overpower the other bigger guys that were going to be in the show. I think they were more worried about everyone is going to try to come in big because all these wider guys are coming in, these thicker guys are coming in. It's going to change from the year before where everybody wasn't really that thick and that wide. So that last-minute mistake or whatever did not, carb up extra or not bring your body weight down. I think that's where Kai fell short this year because in person you actually could see Kai was bigger than Phil. Okay, he had size on him. But when they hit shots, Phil was tighter and had better symmetry. Okay, better shape, better symmetry, better flow, better roundness than Kai. So all Kai really had was size. And you know what? Kai has the physique to go toe-to-toe with Phil. He does. He's thick. He's full. He's round. There's no missing body parts on the guy. He can pose. He can, even if he had a weakness, he'd be able to pose to hide the weakness. But the problem is, he's got to come down in body weight. He looks better when he's at a lower body weight, which he did in 2012, than he does coming in at that little bit higher body weight. A few pounds makes a huge difference on these guys' physiques. So, whether he decides to play the size game, and again, he went to, I guess it was Prague, the Cheroux Classic, or, whatever those shows were, all the Arnold Spain, and Phil repeated again. He won over there again. And people go, Kai, he won over there too. Kai is overpowering size-wise. But when you turn those guys around in person, you can see detail in Phil's back that Kai just simply doesn't have. Like these little tiny striations that a camera doesn't pick up, that a video camera doesn't pick up. When you turn around and where the glutes actually box off and insert into the hamstring, you can see on Phil where the skin, like you can't even see where there's skin. It looks like it's carved out of marble. Kai's got that little bit of skin like on the bottom of the glute or whatever. You turn around, full, round, thick. Lats are just crazy looking from top to bottom. And then Phil turns around and it's just these little tiny details that, I'm not saying Kai doesn't have them, but he's got to bring his body weight down. And he's still going to be bigger than everybody else. Because I think he competed like fucking 280 pounds or 278 pounds or something this year, which is by far, that's bigger than I think what Wolf weighed, and Wolf's like a foot taller than him. So my opinion is Kai has the potential to win the Olympia. Absolutely. He's a multiple, 2 or 3 time Arnold Classic winner. And he's won various other shows. He's definitely proved his point that he can win. And he's been up there in the top 2 spots. And people are like, oh, he'll never win now because, he's been twice so many times. Well, Jay was twice how many times? Dexter Jackson wasn't even twice ever, and he beat, Jay 1 time. So he can definitely do it, but they're going to have to come up with a different game plan, in my opinion, to make sure that he is super tight and not worry about the weight. And, that's how Jay beat guys this year. It wasn't about size. He came down in size to bring conditioning, and everybody saw that, the vascularity and the harness that that's how he beat those bigger guys. Everybody's like, oh, they were so much bigger. Yeah, but they didn't have the conditioning. I saw it. Saw it with my own 2 eyes. It's not all about being big. And we're seeing that because Phil is the champion, and he brings in a whole lot of other things besides size. It's a total package. And Kai, I think right now, if he decided to bring that body weight down, would be the only guy that literally could knock Phil off. Unless his body just won't get that lean, unless he can't get that tightness, unless he can't get that dryness, because he has been pushing his body for so long, and he's been pushing those drugs for so long that his body won't allow it. Because now we're starting to see a thickness to his torso that is very distended through the rib cage and stuff. So I don't know if that is due to just him carrying extra weight, if it's bloat from food that he eats that pushes his stomach out because he's got to eat a lot of food, or if the drugs are starting to take a toll on him. But we'll see in the next couple of years. I think that for a while it's going to be the Phil and Kai game, just like it was the Jay and Ronnie game, and the Dorian and Flex, Dorian and Kevin. We're seeing that, Arnold and Franco. We're seeing that now in this generation of these two. And who knows? Phil could slip up that much, and Kai could take him. Bios3Training@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. www.bios3training.com is the blog, and where the Kai Greene bicep